It's Tuesday night, it's just past 9 o'clock, and you join us here for the latest round of the RTA Virtual Motorsport GR86 Cup 2026 in association with Bois Motorsports and indeed Mondello Park and also Sim Consultants. So thank you very much for joining us as always. We know we have our usual crew in here for a track that we know fairly well here at Road Atlanta. Of course, an absolutely iconic track appears on the IMSA series, of course, that time in September. But our focus is on the GR86 cars at the moment, who have also had their spotlight in various IMSA series around this track. From it, this is our first of the races over in the United States after our run in the UK, where we finished in the Scottish town of Knockhill, Scottish Circuit of Knockhill, should I say. Absolutely hammering it down there it was. And while it was absolutely glorious at home, the tables have turned. It's lashing rain here now in Ireland, and finally the ground has got a good fair soaking. But here at Road Atlanta, it is absolutely stunning as we look forward to the latest round of a championship that Dylan McClements put a firm hand on last week. Harvey Dara had been leading for quite some time, but some superb rounds from Dylan McClements over the last couple of weeks have propelled him well into the lead and really out of nowhere, Evan Dalton.
Yes, fantastic last week from Dylan McClements in Heat 3. He took his 7th win of the championship and he stood on the rostrum 10 times. We've only done 4 rounds, 3 rounds a night. That's 12 races. He's only had 2 duds. Not too shabby indeed, but we are at the popular circuit in Braselton, Georgia, that we visited a few times, as you said, Kevin, in RTA, which one being the infamous starting clip moment. Peter McCann spin.
Absolutely. Peter McCann knows how to spin around here in an LMP2. Let's see if he's any better in the GR86s. And as I said, we went from wee Bonnie Scotland and Knockhill to another very undulated track here, as Evan said, in Braselton, Georgia. The state that is home of the Masters, it's home of the Atlanta Falcons, but this is a 2.54 mile asphalt circuit, 12 turns with a race lap record of 107.56 from the LMP1s back in the day. That was the Peugeot. Those who were on the iRacing service not that long ago remember the Audi versus Porsche battle in the LMP1s, the old tractors coming up against each other. But this is that's a lap record that isn't really representative of these cars, but we'll show you a lap that is far more representative of these cars further off. And another track which I'm sure Evan will have his concerns about the track corner numbers, particularly turns 8 and 9. But we'll get to that in a second as we get to round 5 of this GR86 Cup 2026. Now, plenty of blue skies here in Georgia for this one. Track temperature of around 35 degrees, air temp of 20. And as I say, a GR86 real-time record of 136.524. That is the real world record. Very, very potentially you can go faster in iRacing. Tends to be at least, if not 1 second, a couple of seconds faster than the real time effort. So we're having a look at our real live timing here, and it is we're just about to get out for qualifying, just starting qualifying.
We're back in Scotland.
Yeah, no, we're coming back. There we are, back in the US. We're like a Trump jet during the British Open, over and back. Qualifying 1 minute in, and Evan, I suppose, look, all eyes on Dylan McClements, but Harvey Dara will feel that if he can get a couple of good rounds under his belt, there's still time for him.
Look at this nonsense. It's like something straight out of Monza. But yeah, it is Dylan McClements who is well in front in the championship. But look, a good evening for Harvey Dara. He could still put it back to him. There's 90 points every evening in RTA, and we still have plenty to go here. It's not over until the checkered flag drops in the final round. Travis Moini in third has gone very under the radar, has not stood on the podium, but is third in the championship. Then Sean McClements in fourth, but of course he did miss one evening. Johnny Reid in fifth position. Then it is Jordan Kelly, who is in Kevin Country tonight in Clonakilty. And it's Ryan Evan Johnson in seventh. Kevin Joyce in eighth, who isn't racing here this evening. And then Sean McGoldrick tied on points with him in ninth, and Lee Cogan in 10th position. So look, it's Dylan McClements' dominance Harvey Dara, he's hanging on by a couple of fingers.
Yeah, it's very much. It, it's very, very hard. I mean, we've seen Dylan just seems to be absolutely mega, mega rapid, and no matter what he's in at the moment, and he has supreme confidence as well. He seems to stay out of trouble. Harvey has gone pink in the second sector here, but um, he seems to stay out of trouble largely in races. That was evidenced best last week, while everyone else was slipping and sliding around and crashed into each other on the opening corner. Let's not forget of that opening race. Dylan was managing to keep it out of the wall and didn't have a spectacular qualifying session, did Dylan McClements, but really made up for it in the races. So Harvey comes
Last
across the
week,
line. Sorry, not last week. The week before was it? Where he
ah,
qualified a little bit further back. But yeah, sorry, he was top. He was sorry. It was actually the fact that he had such a good qualifying last week is what kept him out of all the trouble because it all happened behind him. But yeah, Harvey throwing down a
that's a great lap.
133.068. That is a very quick. Let's see what
Fastest
Dylan
in
come back
practice with a
with.
toe was Sean McGoldrick with a 32.9. That's an excellent banker time by Harvey Dara to go 33.0. Now, I imagine the track is a little bit quicker given it is qualifying and they are on low fuel, but look, not the worst way to start your qualifying session.
No, and maybe as you say, pressure's on him. So good way to ease some of that pressure early doors is to get a good lap in. A lot of these guys struggling over this part of the section. This is turn 5 after the S's, and a lot of blind corners here at Road Atlanta. And I suppose, Evan, again, we talked about this previous with Brands Hatch and the like. This attracted a lot of these guys who will be racing this series know exceptionally well. And I wonder will that experience show a little bit in terms of maybe some of our new runners that mightn't have quite as much experience on Road Atlanta.
Yeah, absolutely. It is a circuit that is used a fair amount on the iRacing service, but certainly not for these cars. And these cars are very, very finicky when it comes to the driving style of them. And look, it's a difficult circuit to be quick at. I hopped on and did a few laps of practice last night, and it's very hard to find the time. One thing that is quite difficult is actually the off tracks. They're in very unconventional places, as we're on board with a man who's exceptional in these cars, and that is Sean McGoldrick, because he's going to take us around a lap.
Yep. So Sean McGoldrick taking us through the start-finish line, probably one of the longest straights on this track, even though it only measures a couple of 100 meters into turn number 1. This is a deceivingly tricky corner. You want to get in early and exit out the outside, and then try and pick your mark for here. This is probably one of the trickiest sections on the track for me personally. Anyway, you come up over the hill, you can't see anything. That pole in the distance is your line. But as you come down the S's here, very easy to clip the curb on the inside and get pushed back to the outside. But Sean doing really well there. Clip the curb on the right, take plenty of this curb on the left, and then you can take lots of this on the outside, right over, even over the gravel there. Sean McGoldrick goes as we get into the less maybe technical part of the circuit here, down towards turn 6. This is kind of like a horseshoe shaped. You got a little bit of a short chute between turn 6 and turn 7, a bit of a narrower radius on turn 7, so you have to hook it in, and then it's all about stomping the fast pedal as fast as you can up the hill through technically turn number 8. As you say, plenty of undulation past the RV trucks on your left-hand side, and get ready for this iconic turns 10A and 10B as you come through what is turn 9, down the hill on the outside, and looks like Sean is going to quit this lap. Now he's allowing a car past him, so we'll finish out the lap anyway. So take a curb as much as you can on the inside, then again on turn number 9, turn 10B should I say, right through the outside. Those 3 lines in the middle of the bridge are a very good line for you to take to get to the curb on the outside, and then a late apex here. Have to really hold off as much as you can, take the late apex and get as much speed as you can to cross the line for a lap. So tricky, technical, lots of blind corners as you saw, but great overtaking spots as well, and particularly when you head down the hill in towards turn 10A, expect to see plenty of cars dive to the inside.
I noticed it keeps constantly being called 10A. I don't like it. But actually, to be fair, and I'm going to give a little bit of credit to Road Atlanta here, it actually makes sense that it's 10A and 10B here, because it was added after the rest of the circuit. So this track was first made in the 1970s, and it was actually a 300-kilometer endurance event. So it's brilliant that Petit Le Mans is still a thing, because the track's history is deep rooted in endurance racing. Sterling Moss actually won the first race here. But then it was bought by Dan Panos, and he had to add the chicane in 1996 for safety reasons, when chicanes were being added to every circuit in motorsport. So I'm kind of okay with that one. There's another little right-hander, so where the long sweeping right-hander at the final corner is, you can go down into a braking corner there as well, and then it's hooked to the right. That's 12A. Makes somewhat sense. It's the fact that the back straight here has 2 corner numbers and it's turn 8 and turn 9 is what annoys me.
Yeah,
That one
yeah,
makes no sense.
yeah. I'm on board with you for that. I also feel like, even though it's kind of part of a chicane complex, there's enough distance between turns 10A and 10B for them to be counted as separate chicane. It's not like,
Yeah, why is it just not 11 and 12?
yeah, that's why
They're
I
just
don't.
so allergic to just being normal in America.
Are they? Are they? Is there something about the not wanting the last final turn to be 13 to be an unlucky number? Is that because, I mean, I know is the
So
737. There's
don't
no
put
road
2
13.
corners on the straight when there's none.
Yeah, yeah, true. True. Take away turns 8, you get turn 7, turn 8 becomes the chicane, turn 9 becomes the second chicane, turn 10 becomes the right hander, and then turn 11 is. No, well, turn 11. See, this is the thing. There's turn 11 and there's turn 12, and I'm not entirely sure if they're the same corner, because it looks like
I
just the entry and exit of
Yeah,
one corner.
yeah. Again, I don't mind that one as much.
How can you not mind that? That's so confusing. You
11
just
and
like to
12,
give.
but it is when you're driving it. Over the crest is 11, and then it is another hook to the right for 12. That one's not as bad as 8 and 9, which is
I
just
don't.
nonsense.
I don't know if that's. I don't
If we
know if
go on
that's.
board with a car 4, who is escaping me, but I
That
just see
would
them on the
be
track map there in front of you. Fourth place driver, or car number
Tom
4.
Goldrick.
Sean McGoldrick, we can get a look at it now. So yeah, so this is 10B. Now this over the crest is 11. That's a steering input, and then this is 12.
That's the
That,
steering input. Is that is the slightest steering? So hang on, you're having issues with turn 8 and turn 9 being numbered, and your criteria for turn 11 being considered a turn is that there is steering input.
but it's more of a corner. Like,
I
hold
still
on, is
don't.
there
No,
someone? Can we get the track map up? Is there someone on the back
go,
straight again?
you just go straight through it. You just go straight through it. You don't go around it. Like, it's not a corner that you go
15,
through.
Ken Doyle. No, we're too late. We're gone past turn 8 already. Would you
No,
believe?
Ken Doyle is way past. Where are we now? Yeah, this is the next car. No, you're dead on. Ronan's dead on. No, go back. You were right. Ronan
No,
was.
that was
You
turn
were
9.
right.
No, this is
You were
perfect. This
right.
is perfect. Stick with Johnny Reid. This is no, Johnny, for crying out loud. Don't pull off now. We need
Yeah,
you, my
can we
friend.
go
We
back?
need you.
Can we go back to Lee Hogan because he's about to approach the chicane
Here's
now?
Sean McGoldrick. Here's Sean McGoldrick. Are you ready? Wait for this, folks. That's turn 8.
Yeah, no, but that's also a steering input. So by
It's
your
not if
own
you're
logic,
normal. It's
but
not
yeah,
if you're
but
normal. This,
but,
fair enough. This, okay, fair enough. This one I'll give them, but not the other one. This one
yeah,
I'll
but
give them. Absolutely not the other one.
that's just an interesting criteria as to what makes a corner. The fact that, like,
Yeah,
you
but look
need.
at this. Look over the crest here. I don't know if you have an off board from down at turn number 12. Like, that's definitely a corner.
It's barely a corner though, is it? It's only a corner if you decide to stick all the way to the inside of the
See,
apex. You're
I
trying to
think
get into the pit
11 is a
lane.
corner because of the nature of 12. Perfect. Can we stay with this one? This is perfect. So this is actually our pole sitter who we're looking at currently, Sean McClements. So here we go. Oh, no, the camera changes. But look, oh, it's not great. Oh, it's not great. Oh, it's not great. Oh, oh it's not. Mm.
Your Honor, I rest my case. Okay. In the meantime, Sean McClements,
Can I just actually say
132.6.
something that I've just copied in my notebook that I have written, and this was done like well before we've ever done RTA or my corner runs. 12 listed corners, 13 actual corners. So I was even annoyed on my own while looking at the track. Well,
Um,
I don't know about 11 now, to be honest. It's not a great one.
so
Bring back
Harvey
corner names,
Dara's
says Johnny Hollywood.
bring back,
Absolutely.
yeah, absolutely, bring back corner names, except for maybe, well, no, actually, I was going to say the Nordschleife, but I can imagine, is there a corner name for all 168
I don't
corners in
think for
Ireland?
all of them, but there is a couple of cool ones. Turn
Yeah,
1 is now the Sabine Schmitz
Bean Smith.
curb, which is really cool.
Yeah, I think my favorite one is Schweidenkreuz because it's the one that you're most likely to die in. It's just called Swedish Cross, which makes me think that there's some sort of graveyard from all the drivers that just went straight on through that left-hander. Right. Um,
Kevin
Sean
Joyce saying
McClellan,
what length is the back straight, and as far as I know, it is just over a mile.
but you see, that's not a straight. So what do you count as the back straight? Because you have to go between turns 8 and is it the bit between turn 8 and turn 9? Because that everything else is a corner. So I don't think you can count that as a back straight. Anyway, right. Sean McClemens 132.6, Dylan McClemens 132.8, and that has left a previously superb effort. Oh, Sean just gone top now with a 132.6, and Harvey Dara I was going to say Harvey Dara's earlier lap time blown out of the water, but he's come back with a 132.7. So he splits the McClemens brothers as we head towards the end of qualifying. Will Dylan have anything to say about this?
Yeah, Dylan down in third, has 2 pole positions this season. Would love a third one. He always wants to be on top, doesn't he? But he's parked up right behind Conor Mealy, and Conor's made an absolute mess of that. Dylan McClemens has done so well to navigate through there. Oh no, he's taking the back part. And oh, there we go, in the air. Not the first time McClemens has gone airborne, unfortunately. Sorry, Geraldine and Niall. You can slap me next time you see me.
Yeah. Poor lad. I mean, he's down in West Cork. He's having the time of his life. He didn't even do anything. He didn't do anything wrong. He didn't even do anything wrong this time.
No, he's not in West Cork. Jordan is in West Cork.
Oh, Jordan's in West Cork. Oh, I thought you said. I thought you said Sean was in my part of the world in Clonakilty.
Sean's on pole. Why would he be in West Cork?
I don't know. He could be on pole in West Cork. He could bring his rig down. They could be on holiday. I don't know. Don't ask me. I don't follow Sean McClemens around the same way that you do. I don't stalk his Instagram feed. Jesus. Right, Travis Winnie in 9th place, 133.1, and I don't know if he's going to get any better than that. And for 3rd place, the championship, this could be a tricky one for Travis because he's starting way back along, and unfortunately, that also leaves him open to potentially getting caught up in some early race shenanigans. But it is Sean McClemens from Dunloy, not from Clonakilty, who is going to lead us out for the opening race.
Yeah, and that's actually his 2nd pole of the season as well. So matching his younger brother in that aspect. He's been equally as quick in this GR86. Just had a bit of bad luck in Knockhill and obviously missed one of the rounds. Must have been in Cork. As he's on pole alongside his Harvey Dara on the front row. Then it is Dylan McClemens, Conor Mealy, Ryan Evan Johnson, our driver of the day from last week, Jordan Kelly, Cathal Corkin, Sean McGoldrick, Travis Mawhinney and Eric Killeen with 0.6 of a second separating the top 10. Then it's Sean Smith, Lee Cogan, Johnny Reid, Tony Griffin, Ken Doyle, Sam O'Reilly, Graham Walpole, Queevy and Brennan. And at home again in last position, Adam Dowling.
Yeah, no refund for you, Adam. You can finish last in every single race if you want for the rest of the season. Still got getting a refund. The fact that the top 13 are separated by less than a second on a track that is as long as this is...
And then there's more than half a second between Queevy and Brennan and Adam Dowling.
Well,
oh, sorry, no, just under half a second.
Okay, that's fine then. Okay, not worth mentioning. The fact that there's Sam O'Reilly and Adam Dowling. Anyway, I'll leave them talk about that the next time they meet each other in Mondello because there is quite a bit of a gap there. Amazing.
Not a good advertisement for track days, to be fair.
No, absolutely not. Right. Sean McClemens starting us out. This is going to be a really interesting one to have Harvey Dara between the 2 McClemens brothers because they're going to try and work together.
Oh, look at the way this grid has formed as well because the start-finish line is so early on.
Yeah, I do not fancy that if I'm starting there. It's a bit like a Le Mans when you're way back and you have to... The flag goes green as you go through the final chicane, and inevitably somebody decides to pin the foot in the accelerator and understeers into the outside of the corner and causes a massive crash. But anyway, what I'm trying to remember, was it Sean McClemens that had the... No, was it Conor Mealy that had the Hall of Fame start on coming down when we did a rolling start and he braked and then caused a massive car pile up. Anyway, let me think about that one as we get going.
think it was Ronan Doherty actually, but it's Sean McClements who is off and away as we go racing here in Road Atlantic. Great start by Jordan Kelly actually down towards the back. Ryan Johnson losing a position there very early on, as it will be Harvey Dara and Sean McClements side by side in towards the first corner. Car will really want to understeer out here. You've got to be oh so careful that you're not getting on the grass or the curb at the outside of this corner, and they're side by side here, Dara and McClements. You cannot use the curb on the inside. You will pick up an off track, but Harvey Dara has played that perfectly and takes the lead here in Road Atlanta.
Yeah, he's not hanging about. He's not letting the race play out, Harvey Dara. He's getting himself in there straight away, and he's enforcing his authority here in the McDonald's car. Very corporate of him altogether there in front of the two boys. But what a brilliant move from Harvey Dara. And yeah, that's a brilliant one for Harvey. He has to do it. I mean, the championship is slipping away from him slowly, and he has to make the most of every opportunity. And what a brilliant overtake there from the young Carter as Ryan Evan Johnson tries to move down the inside of Jordan Kelly. But Jordan is just about managing to hang on, and unfortunately I think the internet in Clonakilty is about as good as the internet everywhere else for Jordan, because he's jumping out in and out a little bit. But now look at this is Sean McClements having a run, and his brother, and Dylan, our championship leader and absolute magician, could find himself 2 places down in the opening lap.
Yeah, and there won't be any team orders here between the two Team DDR cars. They communicate just as much as Charles Leclerc and his engineer do during a Formula 1 race. They absolutely don't. So Dylan McClements is the lead car now and gets past Sean on the back straight. Johnny Reid with an incident through turn number 7. He spun around. Dylan McClements has got the momentum the long way around the outside here, and this is going to be very brave if he can pull this one off. No, just backs out early, and he's fancies tucking in behind the Harvey Dara here, does he? He's right on the bumper and pushing Dara in towards the right-hander, but you've got to lift off early here. Around the outside through this corner is absolutely not an option. Now it's just pin the throttle, hold on to the car all the way up towards turn number 5, and then you can use all of the exit on turn number 5, and it won't give you an off track, so just send it on through here, bounce it over the curbs, and you can see Sean McClements does it. He's gone a bit too far and did very well not to hit the wall there. That'll allow Conor Melia through.
Yeah, mistake there from Sean to allow Conor through. Conor having a great start to this race, by the way. He's up 1 place, but a great qualifying as well for the 56 car. Yeah, you can see there for Dylan how much steering input he's going to having to put into stay on the back of Harvey Dara through that S's section. You lose all your aero through there, and you're having to really work the tyres so much harder in the slipstream than the guy in front of you. So, but this is where it comes back to you, where you get down the straight. He's actually giving Harvey a push here, and that's the kind of view that you don't get in real world racing. But there you go, a good insight into what's inside these machines as Harvey leads them through, and Dylan just biding his time here. He knows there's a good few laps left to go, and doesn't want to get too racy, even though he's using absolutely all the track, and seems, Evan, to have a real pace advantage through this section of the track. And it's just about whether he can make that pay as we get towards the latter stages of this opening race.
Yeah, it just seems like he gets the exit out of the chicane and he's able to carry the momentum as Ryan Johnson and Travis Mawhinney side by side, 2 hot shots of RTA Virtual Motorsport, and Travis is going to have to lose the position here, and Bicky, Eric Killeen, is behind him, and no, not able to get past there is Bicky. Was in Belgium recently, and a popular food over there is the Bicky Burger, so good little omen for Eric.
Yeah, that's nice. Bicky sounds like a rapper from Belgium. I'm gonna say like some sort of French, some sort of obscure French rapper that you've never heard of.
Stromae.
Yeah, but the Bicky.
We all watched him in Junior Cert French, didn't we?
I mean, if you're going to teach kids French, it's a good way of doing it. I mean, does it's
La Hare, is it, or La Harve? La Hare?
La Hare.
Or La Haine.
La Haine, yeah.
Yeah, we all have the same French teacher.
La Harve.
That's a football club, isn't it?
Well, it's a town. Literally means.
As you can tell, I wasn't very good at Junior Cert French.
La Haine, La Harve. Yeah.
Griff, Tony.
Undercut, and
Tony got us some milk, bud. That's to the shops.
Oh, Jesus. And that's a good sign of a Corkman with pulling the fast one over a Kerryman there. with the undercut. Sean McClemens started on pole, finds himself down 3 places after that mistake through the opening lap as Conor Mealy almost loses it. We saw Conor lose it through this section during qualifying and unfortunately impeding Dylan McClemens on his fast lap. But Sean, he'll be desperate to get back there because if he gets back towards Dylan, he knows that he's a good chance of winning it back as Melia makes a mistake. Will this open the door for the number 17 to come down the inside? He's thinking about it. And he has decided not to do so as Eric Killeen and Ryan Evan Johnson continue their battle. Travis Winnie's past Evan Johnson. Ryan is I think trying to put a bit of pressure on Ronan CPU there with that all chrome livery. Let's hope the reflections aren't set too high on the settings, or otherwise we're going to have a bit of blinky bicky ourselves as Harvey Dara and Sean Dylan McClemens, and McClemens has the inside here. It looks like he has the spot. He does. That's a great move from Dylan McClemens. Eased past. That's almost as if he had DRS going down that main straight.
Yeah, Harvey braking about 100 metres too early there, it seems, as Dylan just flew past, and there is Ryan Johnson and Bicky heading up through the hill, and Tony Griffin a little bit wide through that chicane again, so he's now back in front of Jordan Kelly, so Jordan falling down the order. The big thing for Harvey Dara here is Dylan's going to find it very difficult to pull away with the slipstream. Even about 8 or 9 tenths is perfectly adequate for a slipstream. It's well over a second you need of a lead.
Is that a dog barking in the background?
Yeah, sorry, my dog is loud.
Again, the kind of thing that you probably don't get in the real world broadcast.
His name is Max Verstappen, though, so, you know, racing related.
Ryan Evan Johnson has a slowdown, and I think you should get one for the name of your dog. He's got a black flag actually, which tells me that he has reached his instant limits. And Campto was telling us in the chat that off tracks are a big issue around here. They absolutely are for anyone who's had to do the Petit Le Mans and has that endurance racing experience. It absolutely has, as Dylan decides to hold the inside line here. It seems like the toe's pretty powerful coming down this straight. Harvey's in front. He's a nose in front, and he's a full length in front now. Will Dylan come back at him? No, he won't. And not at the final furlong yet. But Harvey is making that last straight seems to have a massive toe. And whoever's going to go into that, if you can hold on to the back, as Eric Killeen now makes a move here, and that's Ryan Evan Johnson pulling into the pits to serve that penalty. So unfortunately, that'll be him largely out of this race. A great move from Eric Killeen there. Bicky getting it done on Travis Mawhinney. But if you could, Harvey going wide there, and it looks like Dylan has a push from Conor Mealy as well. Let's see how this goes. It's too wide into a corner that's very difficult to go too wide in. Harvey Dara has to slip back in, but that might work for Harvey. If he can stay on the bumper of Dylan, he'll have the run going through that long back stretch that isn't the back stretch because it contains 2 corners and down in towards the chicane.
Yeah, I imagine Ryan Johnson picked up a couple of 4Xs as well for contact because, yes, the track limits are quite difficult, but no one within the top bunch here has more than 4, so I imagine there was a couple of contact 4Xs as well, and we all know how harsh they can be sometimes, so you feel for Ryan Johnson a little bit if that was the case, as Dylan McClemens sliding it on the curb and the grass. They're going to be side by side heading down to start what will be the final lap of this one. Conor Mealy tucked into the slipstream now, a winner at Silverstone at the weekend. He knows all about the slipstream session, and now Sean McClemens involved as well. They were free wide very briefly. Who breaks latest? Conor's got to be careful bump drafting Dylan, because of course Dylan is going to break at some point, and if Conor doesn't react quick enough, he will hit the back of him. He does break nice and early, so Dylan will lead onto the last lap.
Oh, that is absolutely a case of brothers on brothers. What a brilliant shot that was. The overhead, the blimp cam, as you can see, Conor Mealy pushing Dylan. And any other car in the grid approaching Harvey Dara would say, you know what? If Dylan's getting a push, I'll give you a push. Sean, nah, not going to do that. Not going to help you against my runner. Not a hope. Drives around the outside, back into second position. Glorious.
Yeah, loyal when he wants to be, Sean McClemens, and now Conor Mealy and Harvey Dara are going to go fighting.
Easy. Careful where you
Sorry, that was a dig at the fact he keeps wearing Donegal jerseys. Just...
Oh.
Sorry. I don't know what else that could have been, but that is what I meant. Here we go, through the S's, up towards turn number 5, and Conor Melia is caught in the middle of between Sean McClements and Harvey Dara here. And Carl Corkin and Sean McGoldrick are right behind, but don't count any of these out, because any of them could be the winner here in Road Atlanta. As soon as you get on that back straight, the slipstream absolutely powerful, and it will be Dylan McClements who's arguably in the worst position here, but he's had a stormer of a lap, had about a 5/10 of a second lead, but he's run wide again, so that puts the pole sitter in prime position down the almost 1 mile straight here in Road Atlanta, and it is Dylan McClements who's in the race lead. Sean McClements hunting after him, and Conor Melia in third. They're not making really any moves. It's all just snaking after it. But Sean McClements is going to go for it now on the brakes. Will he get the inside? Who brakes later? Which of the brothers is going to commit most? It's Dylan McClements as Sean chose the nose. No, they've all gone really safely through. It wasn't what we were expecting. Conor Melia with the half slide.
Yeah, Carl Corkin almost getting caught up as well. And it looks like he's going to lose out to Sean McGoldrick. And Conor Melia goes down the inside of
change the lead.
Sean gets ahead of Dylan. I was looking in the background to see what was happening between Harvey Dara and Conor Melia, and I missed that, but it looks like Dylan gave Sean the lead right at the end.
I don't know if he gave him the lead. We have to take another look at that one. But yeah, leading, exchanging hands for the final corners. And it is Sean McClements who goes from 4th to 1st in 2 laps to take the win here in heat number 1.
Yeah, and Jordan Kelly also finishing with a drive-through, just to by the way. So that's just a 10-minute race. We've already had 2 drivers in the pits, so something to watch out for the second race. But Sean and Dylan, 1 and 2, and whether it was taken or whether it was given, Sean McClements with his 3rd win of the year. Am I right in saying that?
His 5th, actually.
5th win of the year. Oh my God! Congratulations, chapeau, Sean McClements, all the way from Le Havre.
Yeah, Dylan McClements in 2nd, then it was Conor Melia in 3rd. Let's have a look at this very quickly. So that is Dylan who is on the outside, Sean on the inside. Dylan, of course, as always, sporting the number 88. And you can see through here, no, Sean just got a much better exit than Dylan and just drove on past him. Bravo.
Yeah, a super move from Sean. It looked like the chance had been was over when they got through that chicane section. But Sean getting the win and leads us out here for race 2.
Yes, so it is the 2 Team GDR cars on the front row as we go racing in Road Atlanta once again. And it's another good start from Harvey Dara, who's looking to challenge Conor Melia in towards the first corner. But Melia immediately into the slipstream of the top 2 as they will go single file in front, but not so behind. It's it's Carl Corkin and Sean McGoldrick who are side by side. 2 who would race with each other very regularly in other championships. And it is Mawinny, actually, who's got a great run up towards turn number 3, but he's been hung out to dry a little bit, and that is now Lee Cogan on the inside. That's forced Bicky very wide, and he's going to have to gather it together, losing a lot of positions in the meantime as Tony Griffin flies through as well. But good start for Lee Cogan in the Aries Autosport car. He's up 2.
Yeah, brilliant start for him. But yeah, if you're not going forwards, you're going backwards when the race starts here. Because if you get pushed out like we saw there, Travis Mawinny, you end up going back a huge amount of places as Mr. Sparkle goes down the inside of McDonald's. But one major franchise to another. It's the fast food outlet that win out in the day in that one for the moment. But yeah, it's that Travis Mawinny one. It's just a great example of how car positioning is everything, and it was a great move from Carl Corkin, just easing him out. And now all of a sudden, Travis finding himself in an altogether different battle as Carl continues further up the road. Now we have a line of 3 here, line and stern going down into turn number 10A through 10B, and Conor and Dylan getting through those sequence of corners very well, and Harvey Dara 4th position as they tumble down over the turn that isn't a turn of 11, and Johnny Reid comes through. So Johnny in 8th position as well at the moment. Let's not forget there will be a reverse grid pole as we head into this final race, but we still have another 13 minutes of action before we get to that, as Dylan all over the back of his brother, and lest he forget who's actually racing, Sean has put his own name on the back bumper, a bit like the referees in the World Cup on the back of their collar. The 2 of them very close together, but Conor and Harvey Dara very, very close at hand as well. So nothing separating these four as we get into this third lap.
Yeah, there's a long way to go in this race. This stage of the race is all about putting yourself in the best position before the end, managing your off tracks, managing your tyres. The tyres wear off very quickly in these cars. Not as much at this track in comparison to other circuits. Knockhill wouldn't have been too much of a killer either, but the likes of Brands Hatch certainly would. You got to manage your race car, just keep it in a good position and keep yourself within this leader group. If you have an incident now, that's no good. You won't be in the fight come the win. This race is won after 15 minutes, not after 3.
Yeah, and it's a bit like as Harvey Dara looks like he might make a go. He's going to try and win it in 3. He's down the inside of 2 cars. Oh, that's very tight between himself and Dylan McClements as the first and second in the championship once again go side by side, and they have a good history between the two of them in this competition through several iterations of RTA, as Harvey manages to get the move past Conor Melia, but he is losing momentum through this section. He's going to have a really good section 1 to keep the former Leinster Trophy winner off his back. Am I right saying Conor Melia? I'm just going to throw that out there and hope that it's correct.
Kev,
and
with all due respect, where has that come from?
Is it correct?
No.
Oh, okay, well then
forget no, it very much isn't.
Well, forget what I said. I just had that in my head for some reason, but obviously it was absolutely incorrect. So apologies to all former, yeah, well, absolutely former Leinster Trophy winners, and the grid. Right, where am I going with this? I was making a point and then I've completely forgotten what it was. But Sean McClements still leading Dylan. Harvey very, very close at hand. And 4 minutes in, I was going to make the point that now that I think about it, having watched a bit of the athletics over the weekend, I reckon our race 1 is a 1500 meters, race 2 is the 5000 meters, and race 3 is the 10,000 meters. Just when you, it's about jostling for position, and it's about making sure that you're not out of position, but ultimately it's about being where you need to be on the final lap to strike when it matters most.
Great reference, great analogy, and Ireland with a very successful European athletics once again. Harvey Dara is putting his car on the inside once again. Harvey very comfortable in the chaos as usual. And Conor Melia running a very steady race. He's clipped a bit of grass on the inside, and now there's a couple of nudges between the two, and they'll go side by side through here. And he was sideways there, and it took a lot of grass on the inside to make sure it didn't wash into Harvey Dara. That was cool car control from Conor Melia. Could have very much been a big crash between himself and Harvey Dara. And Harvey Dara has got to thank Conor for that one as well, for not being wiped out.
Yeah, because I mean, Harvey could have also come across the front of Conor, considering he went into the corner slightly ahead of him. He gave him enough room to take it. Conor, I think, was being overly, accommodating. Took too much to the curb on the inside, and then a big counter steer. You could see great on-board footage there of Conor correcting it. But all's fair in love and racing, and they all live to fight another day. As Travis Mawhinney's gotten himself back, he had been slightly pushed out by Cathal Corcoran on that opening lap. Cathal, by the way, sporting an absolutely superb livery, which, bear with me, because Evan, you won't get this reference. Ronan may get this reference, but it's a niche one. I suspect there will be people in the chat will get this reference. All reminds me of the Mobil 1 Rally Championship game for PC. So, for those of you who know, that's a real throwback. The first ever video game where I got to race in Ireland, and had an unbelievable series of stages through the Isle of Man, which involved driving through the port, one of the ports in the harbours, and going through all that. Anyway, I digress. That's what that livery reminds me of. And yeah, superb stuff from Cathal Corcoran. Love it.
Yeah, Cathal, a racing and sim racing aficionado, so it wouldn't surprise me, if he wasn't familiar with that rally simulator as well. Big lunge down the inside from Harvey Dara on Sean McClements, and they are going door to door once again. It's very similar to the opening lap of the opening heat here this evening, and Harvey Dara is looking to try and send one on the inside of Sean McClements. Very close between the two. McClements hangs around the outside. Melia's put his car in a precarious position once again, and now he's trying to go the long way. Won't work out. He'll bleed off way too much speed trying to get around the outside, but this is a feisty fight here in Road Atlanta, and a very entertaining one so far here in Heat 2. Look, I clearly know nothing. I said they might be holding back. There's no holding back here.
No, absolutely not. But I do think that was great work from Conor Mealy, even though he might get overtaken here by Sean McGoldrick, who sticks it down the inside. And this is less rallying, more British touring cars. There's a little bit of contact there, but I do think that was great work from Conor Mealy, going slightly around the outside. He kind of knew it would beat off the speed. Otherwise, he was kind of on a one-way course for Harvey Dara's rear right corner. So I think it was a good job from Conor to put it where he did. On a side note, calling that game a simulator is a stretch. That game was designed to be used on a keyboard. So yeah, I mean, definitely a long way from a simulator, but an enjoyable one nonetheless. As Harvey,
Still better than the first project cars.
oh, couldn't be much worse as Harvey touches the rear of Sean McClements, and Sean won't like that very much. Nearly unsettling himself in the process, but managing to get away with it. But that will open the door for Conor Mealy to potentially step through. Very interesting. They're all having little pot shots at each other. There's little nips. There's little sort of maybe psychological battles. Little sort of a little bit of chicken going on in terms of trying to set their stall out here. And there isn't a huge amount of help going on here. I know the McClemens brothers would otherwise help each other as Harvey Dara bounces and juts his way across the middle part of the track. And can he hold it? No, he's going to open the door for Conor Mealy, and they go 2 by 2 through the S's. Will Noah's Ark work here? Oh, that's outstanding from Harvey Dara to keep that in. And I think he's going to get a push here now from Sean Goldrick, who arrives with pace. Sean is running the wipers for the extra speed boost. We know that is an effective tactic as Harvey holds on to third position, but he has lost quite a bit of time to the
Travis. Big lunge from Travis Moini on the inside of Conor Mealy, and Mealy now could fall down to sixth. Honestly, if Conor and Harvey make it to the end of this race, that's a miracle. They are hustling their cars into moves, over curbs, every way they can. Cathal Corkin now may well give Conor Mealy the push down towards the chicane, and that's Sean McGoldrick giving Harvey Dara the push as the two leaders swap. So it's now the older of the two. It's Sean who is in the race lead. And now here they come. A little bit further back, there's Corkin on the outside. Mealy is still in front of them, and he will be pushing now to try and catch back up to Sean and Harvey Dara. Bicky just sneaking into camera shot there. So himself and Cathal, both very good friends, now side by side in for the right-hander. Tony Griffin, most improved last season in the Indy Next Series. He's looking to improve his position here in heat number 2 as well. Current reverse grid pole now belongs to Tony Griffin as Cathal Corkin's held out on the outside. They're just understeering off into the distance. But he was able to gather it up, and he's now behind Johnny Reid, who's done well to work his way from the back.
Yeah, just lost his turn in reference there. I think Cathal, probably with all the battling going on, probably half forgot where he was and just forgot to turn in at the right time, which meant he pushed out wide as this snakes through this traffic all the way down to Ken Doyle. Is it at the back in the Peniston yellow? Not Peniston, that's the Pennzoil. Peniston is the Top Gear sponsor for the side of the endurance race. That is absolutely a reference. That is absolutely an episode you should go and watch if you haven't watched it before. Sean McClements leading. Dylan, that was a swap we saw earlier on down towards the S's, and I suspect that's a swap that might go back again. They're not pushing each other, Evan, interestingly. They're just overtaking each other and using each other's slipstream. They must have figured out that perhaps that's faster overall than pushing, or maybe just a little bit less dangerous. I'm not sure. Normally you'd expect to see one push the other, but it's in this case they just seem to be swapping back and forth.
Yeah, I'm very interested in
Tony.
Oh, Tony Griffin.
Wide
again. Tony, don't do that. Oh, no, that was very close. I'm not sure how they all snuck through there, to be honest, as Tony looked like he was pulling across the two of them, but he didn't. He must have got a spotter call right at the right time, and that allows Johnny Reid to sneak his way through, and Eric Killeen is on the outside here, so Bicky may look for the move. That's... No, not going to work there. Cathal Corkin, a much better line this time round. Was able to get on the inside of Tony Griffin. Yeah, just on the two brothers. Very interesting driving from there this evening. The body language of their driving and their tactics, it would be like they had a fight or something before the race, because we usually see them doing everything possible to help each other, but no bumping, battling, swapping places. And I think I know the answer, and that's they both want to win the championship.
Yeah, we're going to have a look at this RTA Virtual Motorsport replay in association with Bois Motorsport. And we're going to look at Sean McGoldrick coming down here now in behind Harvey Dara. Let's see what happens to McGoldrick. He is swinging in here, and it's Harvey Dara who actually
Clip
makes
the
a
grass.
mistake, catches too much grass on the outside, and that is Sean McGoldrick through into third position in the number 16 car. So great move there from Sean McGoldrick. But yeah, I mean, you know what? In a way, as Sean now tries to put a press on the leaders here, he's going to be boxed out by Sean McClements, and maybe that's a little bit of help. But like Sean in particular, I would say, has been doing everything he can to help Dylan, because Dylan seems to be at the pointy end of the championship more often. And you know what? I think it's a great um, compliment to Dylan that he's now like he's kind of come of age, right, at this point in this championship. Like no longer is he the young kind of pretender with the potential and can he do it, and he's going to be a great future prospect. Like he's winning championships now, championship after championship. And like for Sean, like there's no more Mr. Nice Guy now. Like there's no more helping the little brother out. I think, I mean, Sean wants to win championships himself. He's not racing here to help his brother win. He's racing to win himself. And I think at this point now, Dylan has stood up on his own 2 feet. We've seen how he's gained that confidence, and he's a little bit racier than he was before. And Sean, quite rightly has said, okay, well, look, I was there, I mentored you a little bit, and I helped you a little bit, and I was your wingman through the last couple of seasons, and now you can stand up on your own 2 feet, and it's every man for himself. And to be honest, I think that's, if anything, that's a greater compliment to Dylan than anything else, because he doesn't need his brother anymore now, Dylan. He has to be able to go out and win these championships on his own.
Yeah, and we'll ask both of them something about this in the after race interview, and they both won't suggest anything of the sort, because whatever media training happens up in Dunloy is fantastic. Oh, that was a late move. That was a very late move by one of them. It's a block off Sean McGoldrick. And Sean McGoldrick is looking to stick through the middle. Oh, he's been clipped. Is he going to be able to save it? No, he'll get a slowdown for that. And Sean McGoldrick just clipped one of the Team TDR cars, and that has cost him here, and he's backed up Harvey Dara. He's pulled out in front of Harvey Dara, and that's going to cost Harvey. Could well have given him damage, and that does really affect these cars. But heading on to the final lap of the race, drama on the penultimate lap. Once again in Road Atlanta, it is Sean who leads.
Yeah, that's poor from Sean. I don't think there's any malice in it, but just a complete lack of situational awareness there. And I feel really bad for Harvey Dar, because he had nothing to do with that. It was still very much in the fight. I mean, I know he made a mistake to allow Sean through in the first place a couple of laps ago, but all the same, Sean made the whether Sean made the mistake or whether there was contact, I mean, that's down for the stewards to decide. But when Sean gets back on track with the slowdown, you can't just stop in front of a car that's coming through, especially with Harvey coming through for potentially trying to win the race and trying to put pressure on the McClements, and he's enough on his mind as it is. So that's poor from Sean McClements. I know he'll put his hands up himself. Or sorry, from Sean McGoldrick, should I say? Sorry, poor from Sean McGoldrick. I know he'll put his hands up himself, but we'll have a look at. We'll have a chance
He's
to
done
have a
very
look at
well with the
Sean McClements.
slowdown, though. He could still win the race. Conor Melia could well still win the races here, as the checkered flag will be at the end of this lap, and they're a lot more bunched together than they were on the previous lap, or in the previous race, I should say. So we'll see, will there be another last lap pass for the win? It's Sean McClements who leads into the chicane this time round, though. Dylan behind him. Conor Melia that little bit further back. He'll be praying that the two brothers make contact for what would probably be the first time. And Dylan McClements knows that he needs a good run out of the chicane, not late on the brakes into it. Harvey Dara, though, clips the side of Sean McGoldrick, and as they exit the chicane, it's a good exit for Sean McClements. It's a bad one for Harvey Dara. McGoldrick weaves across the front of Harvey Dara to defend off him. And here we go on the run to the line. It's less than a tenth of a second. Who's going to fly across it first? He'll be 2 for 2 from McClements. Well, Sean, that is. That doesn't really narrow it down, but Sean McClements takes the win, as here comes the rest of the pack barreling across the line. And I tell you what, we were talking about Sean's championship endeavour. That's a big win here in heat number 2.
Yeah, and even 2x2 across the line as Ken Doyle takes the alternative line across the finish line to finish in 15th place. It just goes to show you how competitive it is all the way down to 15th. But yeah, I mean, Harvey Dara definitely gave it back to Sean McGoldrick there, sent it down the inside of him and used the 15 car as a bit of a stopping barrier. But, I think that was Harvey's obviously natural frustration given what happened before. So that is the controversial moment, but it's Sean who goes back to back. Can he repeat his brother's feat and make it back to back to back in this final race? Let's have an interview with the man himself now.
Well, we'll go through the results first.
We
It
always
is
do that. Yeah.
Sean McClemens who takes the win, Dylan McClemens in second, then Conor Melia in third, Sean McGoldrick in fourth, then Harvey Tara in fifth, and it was Travis Mooney, Eric Killeen, Johnny Reid, Colin Corkin, Tony Griffin, Ryan Johnson, Lee Cogan, Sean Smith, Jordan Kelly, Ken Doyle, Queeveen Brennan, Graham Walpole, Sam O'Reilly, and Adam Dowling. Let's hear or try to understand the race winner now. Sean, congratulations, 2 from 2, 6 wins on the season, but you certainly had to fight for those.
Yeah, look, no, it was a really interesting sort of qualifier, and the race especially was very interesting. It's kind of a toe fest, and it's like especially the first 10 minutes, you don't really know what to do with yourself, like, because there's no point in battling, like, if it's going to be a 15-minute race and it's going to come down in the last 2 laps anyway. So you just kind of set yourself up, and like, interestingly enough, Dylan slowed down to keep me in the toe, and I end up passing him in the first race. But sure, that's the way it happens.
Yeah, so Dylan helping you a little bit there, but it's evident that you're both not helping each other as much as usual. Subconsciously, I take it that you are both very much aware that this championship will probably be won by a McClemens, so it's between the two of you to fight out amongst yourselves.
Well, yes or no. It's like it's an interesting point to bring across, Evan. Like, but I think Dylan, it's at this rate, still has it in the bag.
What did I say,
'cause
Kevin? I said they wouldn't answer the question. Told you.
Yeah.
Because
And
the thing about it
Geraldine
was,
hasn't trained well.
I did do the drop rounds, and Dylan's still about 30 points ahead, like, roughly.
It's one race.
So unless he has obviously a bad round or something, but then that could be used as his drop round. Whereas I have zeros a drop round, so it will be interesting. Like, it will be very interesting sort of end of the season. But sure, we'll see how we get on.
Well, you're coming from 8th now in this one, fighting through the field. An ode to you missing your pole position slot in Kyrgyzstan. How's this race going to go?
As long as I can make the race start, it'll be an interesting one now with all the
Yeah, just remember to grid up this time, champ.
Yeah, but no, there's what, 8, 9, 7 other cars you get through a 20-minute race. There's not really all the action will happen the first couple of laps, and then I say it'll be evened out until the last couple of laps again. Because it's there's not really much to do. It's not really an interesting race as such until the last couple of laps. But sure, see how it happens.
Sean, thank you very much for joining us. All going well. We will chat to you later on.
Right, good luck. Hey.
Now, the younger of the two, let's bring in Dylan McClemens.
Dylan, just very quickly, you've two twos, which I think doubles the amount of races in the series that you haven't won, which is quite an incredible feat thus far. Really, really close racing, and I suppose tell us a little bit about that incident with yourself and Sean McGoldrick.
Well, I saw it was going 4 wide, so I thought this is going to be interesting going into the last corner, and I don't really know what happened. To be honest, I think he just outbroke himself a tiny bit, and then sort of pushed him off.
There's a good battle brewing between yourself and your brother. I know he's been your wingman previously. Is that gone now? Has he kind of said you're out on your own?
Well, in the first race, at the last lap, I kind of slowed down to tell him and keep the second, but then he just overtakes me then. But nah, we seem to be working again because I backed off a bit. One lap I was the second up the road, just to make the race more interesting.
Right. Okay. Very interesting. Dylan, look, I mean, the championship, you're still fairly far ahead, but 30 points now could be between yourself and your brother, and I think he has a better drop round. So, will you be slowing down for him in the final race if the championship's on the line?
Well, it's more of surviving this last race. It's going to be tight and it's hard to overtake, so it'll definitely be interesting.
All right. Well, Dylan, nice to speak to you as always. Congratulations, and no doubt we'll be speaking to you after the final race.
All right, cheers.
Very interesting. I don't know. Do we have time to speak to Conor?
No.
Sadly not, because we haven't got a chance to speak to Conor so far this year. But anyway,
Both
hopefully
my fault, unfortunately. Sorry, Conor.
Yeah. But Dylan claims he was a second down the road and slowed down to quote make the race more interesting. Wonder what you make of that.
It's always nice when you've won 7 races in the season, isn't it, that you can pull off that malarkey.
Well, I'm not sure what the other drivers will make in that comment as we head
Yeah.
towards our final race of
If I
the
was
evening.
another driver, you'd have to just hold your hand up and say, well, look,
Well,
he's beating
yeah.
us left, right, and centre this season. What can we do? We can do what he wants.
Yeah, true. Yeah, true. Absolutely. But
But it would also
you know,
motivate me to beat him even more.
well, that's the
So
thing. I mean, it certainly will maybe people won't be quite so forgiving with that kind of stuff. But yeah, as Kev says, the McClemens podcast experience. It's a bit like the waiting room in Formula One, circa a couple of years ago, and it was the Max Verstappen podcast. But we're getting ready to go, and it's Johnny Reid who leads us out.
Johnny Reid on pole position alongside Bicky, as here they come then as we go racing in Road Atlanta down towards the first corner, and it's a good start for Travis Mooney. Excellent launch by Harvey Dara, and Harvey Dara is already looking for second place here, but he's going to have to run it around the outside of Travis Mooney, and he's gone for it. Oh, that's a beauty of a move from Harvey Dara. Full commitment, and that is a man who wants another heat-free win in towards the third corner. He fought for the win in Alton Park with Johnny Reid. He's now up to second position. What a start by Dara.
Yeah, that's a man driving angry from the number 9 car, absolutely sending it around the outside. Had a brilliant overtake in the opening lap of the second race, a brilliant overtake in the opening lap of the third race. And Harvey, he is a man possessed after what was done to him by that man passing by Sean McGoldrick in the last race. Will we see those two come together again? Very, very possibly. McGoldrick has the pace, as does that man behind him, Dylan McClemens. And it would be interesting to see whether Sean and Connor can make their way up through the grid as well. But a superb start from Harvey Dara. He's now going to be all over the back of Johnny Reid. He's going to make a bad rash in a few laps. Just watch this space.
Yeah, Camto saying Harvey a legend with the overtakes. He's pulled off a couple of crackers in the previous week. Sorry, folks, I wasn't getting your comments, so we'll actually we'll talk to you again now. As here is Sean McGoldrick once again going for a risky move into the chicane. He backs off this time, and Dylan McClemens is going to lunge the two of them. We know Dylan likes to get his work done very early here in heat number 3. Now he slides out of the chicane, and we're going to be free wide here. And oh, Dylan, that's just so precise. Probably unintentional, but there was about a millimetre separating the front of his car and Bicky's as Sean McGoldrick goes off-roading, rejoins the circuit. There's contact between Griffin and there's contact between Eric Killeen, and it's all sorts of chaos here in Braselton, Georgia, and Sean McClemens runs it round the outside of Bicky. We're free wide in towards the third corner. Tony Griffin bravest on the brakes. He's able to chuck it across the curb and take the position in 7th. What a monumental opening 2 laps.
Yeah, there's absolutely, this is a very interesting 10,000 meters, if it is a 10,000 meters, as Harvey Dara's all over the back of Johnny Reid. But I think there might have been contact between the two Seans, Sean with an S and Sean without an S, as the number 16 car returned to track earlier. We'll may have a look at that as well, but thankfully it didn't affect Sean McClemens' race too much, as he's in 5th, 6th position. As Johnny, he's going to struggle big time to hold on to this lead with Harvey Dara all over the back of him. And will this be the time where Harvey makes the McMove going down into the chicane?
Yeah, here he goes. There was contact between these two in Alton Park, but Harvey was able to fight back to win that day. They won't be looking to make contact again. Johnny Reid, by the way, running at the front of heat number 3. He was last on the opening lap of heat number 1, so that is a fantastic comeback from him. I think he's just taken the Sean McClemens approach there of, why should I battle? There's another 17 minutes to go in this one. No need for panic.
Yeah, no panic. Calm, panic, calm. As Travis comes through in 3rd position. Travis back where he started, but behind him, Dylan up 3, Connor up 1, Sean up 2, Tony up 3. Unfortunately for Bicky, started on the front row, all the way down in 6th position.
Yeah, down in 6th as Harvey up 3 places. I thought it was a lot more given that monster start. Sean McGoldrick down 5, but he went off-roading on the opening lap. Sam O'Reilly up 3, down towards the back, so he's now fighting with Sean Smith. Ken Doyle down 2, disappointingly, as they head through turn number 5 down towards the right-hander now. A little bit of a dip in the road, but nothing that will make your braking too difficult. Harvey Dara leading by 0.5 of a second, so they will all close in on him as they get down towards the chicane.
Yeah, big issue for Jordan Kelly. He's dropped way down the order. Not sure what happened to the number 8 car, but he has dropped off the face of the planet here. So we might have an opportunity to have a look to see what happened to Jordan, who is down in Clonakilty, the number 8 team Dolan car. Let's have a look going through the S's, and that's what happened. Nope, he's back and he's gone and he's back and he has spun. So I'd love to show you what happened to Jordan
Cock
Kelly,
rip and
but
spun a 360.
yeah, all right, okay, that makes sense. Because I was gonna say, unless unless it was some sort of physical barrier between the teleporting zone that he arrived in and the physical, then yeah, I don't have any other explanation for that. But Harvey, not breaking the toe too much of Johnny Reed, as Campto says, it would be ideal for him if he could, but Johnny's keeping up with
No
him, and he has
chance.
Travis behind him and Dylan behind them as well. It's not like Harvey's got through to first position and is powering away from the rest of the grid. Like, we could see only 0.6 of a second separate at the top. Was it 11 in the qualifying? So they're all very evenly matched. Obviously, the cream rising to the top so far in this one. But this reverse grade pole gives guys like that an opportunity to show their pace and maybe show their grit. And Johnny certainly making his case here, as we're already a quarter of the way through this final race.
The lower the power, the more important the slipstream is, and these things have no power whatsoever. So the toe is going to be massive on a straight with 2 corners. As long as this, Harvey's quick, he's good, but I don't think he's going to drop the field here. But a mistake for Johnny Reid that happens and it sends the pack all sideways would be beneficial to Harvey. Travis knows this, so he wants to get past ASAP and be the one putting the pressure on the race leader. So in towards this chicane comes Harvey Dara and Johnny Reid, and now on the inside of Johnny Reid, Travis Mawhinney, clean as a whistle. Apart from the slowdown he's just picked up.
Yeah, it's oh, this is an interesting one. Slowdown, obviously, for Travis, and that's going to blow the door open, as you say, guys. But Dylan now getting through on Johnny Reid, and Dylan into second position. So the real winner from all that. Oh, Johnny goes round. Oh, no. Johnny, no. Back. Oh, dear. That was very close. A lot of cars making evasive action, and Dylan managed to survive that. Oh,
But a crash in the front of the pack that gives Harvey Dara a gap of over a second. It only took 3 corners for that one to become believable. There's Ken Doyle sideways, but Harvey Dara now leads by 1 second, so Dylan McClemens has to get the hammer down if he wants to try and catch the number 9 here. 1.1. That could well be enough to break the slipstream, as we'll see here. No, Dylan still catching in a straight line. Should be okay, but the pack a lot more disjointed than what it once was. Conor Melia survived that crash as well, and to be honest, they all did very well to avoid Johnny Reid, apart from the one backmarker who somehow hit him miles off the racing line, but we won't talk about that one, as here comes Conor pushing Travis. These two got to work together, as do McClemens and Griffin, to try catch the front. But unfortunately for Harvey Dara, I think he was about 2 or 3 tenths shy.
God, it's like that. It's like that Family Guy meme where the airplane pilot, and everyone's waiting for him to crash, and then he survives, and then the guy just comes up and stabs him in the chest. And just goes, "Hey!" That's what it reminded me of. It was like everyone went around him, avoided the big accident, and then right at the end he gets to death anyway. Right, Conor Melia all over the back of Travis. He deserves it. Yeah, Travis Winnie, and this is a great battle because Travis is probably about as high as he can get here, to be fair, in terms of the overall standings. I mean, it's going to be very hard for him to put a push on Dylan or Harvey at the front of the pack, so he is absolutely racing to try and maximise everything he can out of that GR86 car, as Sean unfortunately finds himself down in this pack. Oh, how he'd wish to be up there with his brother and Harvey Dara up towards the front of the pack, but still 12 minutes left, still plenty of time. And if we know anything about this track, Evan, it's that one slightly wrong turn, you're sent over the curbs, and all of a sudden you can easily lose half a second to a second.
Yeah, Travis Mooney with an example of that. Bounced over the exit curve of turn number 7. And now Conor Amelia with the push from Sean McClements. And certainly Sean probably more likely to work with Conor than he would with Travis. So Conor will get the benefits of the Damien Doherty engine in the back of that Toyota. Down towards the chicane. Now they fall single file once again. And 1.7 is the gap between Conor and Dylan. That's a lot less closable than 1 second, as Sean McGoldrick and Tony Griffin almost both having another moment for the chicane. And the turn 10 chicane has not really been great for those two this evening. Here's Bicky and Cahill trying it round the outside, both being supported by Cluster Funk in the stream chat once again. And as always, folks, we appreciate your comments and thank you very much for joining us.
Yeah, totally. I actually think it was Travis Mooney almost got cleaned out there by Tony Griffin, who went down the inside on Sean McGoldrick, but then couldn't get it stopped in time and almost sent Travis Mooney around. Thankfully, they lived to fight another day as we go 2 wide through the S's, and there is Mooney, the aforementioned man, up against Conor Melia. Can Conor Melia get into 4th position? Oh, he gets over the curb, and very similar to what we saw in the last race. Then he gets a touch to the back, and that's Sean McGoldrick again into the back of Conor Melia. And Travis Mooney gets dumped into the barrier, but what does you say a save from Conor Melia? Sean McGoldrick right into the back of him. I think there was nowhere for Sean to go into his defence, but unfortunately that sent Conor side-swiping into the side of Travis Mooney, and unfortunately for Travis, for the number 11 car, his evening is done.
Yeah, we need an onboard of that from Sean McGoldrick, ideally. I don't know, it seemed like he had time to lift off the loud pedal, but when you're 3 wide through turn number 5, what can you really expect? As here we go through here.
Yeah.
I think that one's on Sean, to be honest. He definitely had time to react to that.
I was trying to give Sean the benefit of the doubt, considering I blamed him for the Harvey Dara incident, but I also think that's on Sean McGoldrick, and Sean may end up coming out of this round with 30 penalty points if the stewards deem it in the same way that I would deem it if I was in their position, but I will leave that speculation to them. Yeah, not a great one, and unfortunately a little bit of loose driving coming in here, Evan. I feel like, I don't know, is it because Dylan's so far ahead, and or relatively so far ahead, and a lot of these guys feel like their championship is kind of isn't within their grasp, or what? But the driving standards this evening are, I think, a small bit off what we would hope for.
To be honest, this is a really intense track. So by this point in the evening, which is 10 o'clock, and I imagine a lot of these guys had work today, or they're probably tired. The reaction's probably a little bit slower, and maybe a little bit more lackadaisical when it comes to wheel-to-wheel racing. It's a difficult night, especially in what is quite humid, or at least in Gantry TV, HQ country anyways. It's a little bit humid, so it's quite warm and intense, so we'll give them the benefit of the doubt there. The driving standards have been quite good all season. It's also tin top racing, so rubbing is racing. What can you expect? It's a 2-horse race up the front between Dylan McClements and Harvey Dara, and I imagine these two guys want it no other way. It's a proper shootout between the two young talents of RTA Virtual Motorsport, both champions in their own rights, as Conor Melia is forced into another save once again. And Conor Melia must have a couple of magnets on his Martini liveried car, because it just seems like contact keeps being made with it.
Yeah, I think that was kind of Conor's own fault, to be fair. Then and Ryan Evan Johnson, who himself did a superb job. You saw him going through that turn that wasn't a turn, and almost Tokyo drifting through it, because he had already no balance, but managed to hold on to it. So that's good work from the 410. And yeah, it's a great battle here between these guys. Oh, speaking of good battles, here's Kyle Corkin and Tony Griffin. Tony mowing the lawn here in Georgia. And yeah, he may get him a job at Augusta National, but it won't win him any places here in Brazelton as he falls down the order. He has a slowdown, and he has Conor Melia, the aforementioned man, on his rear end. And Conor has had a very instant packed race, unfortunately down 3 places from where he began. I'm sure he'd love to be further up, but that's 1 place back at least for him into 8th position. Conor Melia now chasing down the rest of the pack.
Yeah, they do actually do Formula Drift here, as far as I know. So the drifting team is on point. Speaking of drifting as well, we've got to wish our very own Ronan Hederman the best of luck at the Drift Games Bash this weekend. He's competing, so hopefully the car comes home in 1 piece.
Hopefully Ronan comes home in 1 piece.
Well, he says he's doing it just for the crack, but Could you really tell the difference?
Well, I mean, either way is going to spin out and hit a wall. So whether it's competing or not, it's all.
I love how I was going to be nice and it's just gone to this.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry, Ronan. I know. I do wish him luck. To be fair, it's always good to see one of our boys actually give it a go in the real world, which is more than can be said for either of us. The closest I get to racing is what was I say? Intentionally kicking out my rear end on a greasy estate road occasionally. So it's a long way from. Allegedly, that's the closest thing I get to drifting. And also because I'm leaving the traction control because I'm a little bitch and I don't want to wreck my car. So fair play to Ronan, he's out and doing it. So best luck to him this weekend. Hopefully, speaking of greasy tracks, I suspect a little bit of rain over the weekend or over the week might help that. Might help those boys. So let's hope we have a small bit of rain, a little dusting of rain up in what is Gantry TVHQ up in the county of Kildare. And let's see what happens. Carl Corcoran on the back of Eric Killeen. Bickey's up down 3 places, but he was down further. He was down in 8th at one point, and he's managed to claw his way back up to 6th, or 5th, should I say. Apologies to the Eric Killeen fan club. The Shamrock Motorsport number 10 car is actually doing a fairly good job. And Johnny Hollywood says, Ronan, if you win, we will actually petition Naas County Council to rename your ball. Oh, but that sounds. It sounds.
And he might ask to rename the Naas ball as well.
Well, I was going to say it sounds like what are you going to do with the other one? It's not it's freezing.
I love how we're talking about this as the 2 championship favourites are going side by side from a flat out corner. As here comes Dylan McClements on the inside of Harvey Dara, and Harvey Dara exits stage left onto the grass, but is able to rejoin. Would have got a 1x for his troubles, but no slowdown crucially. So these two still in contention. This is brilliant. This reminds me of Dylan McClements and Jordan Kelly back in the Super Formula Lights in Brands Hatch, where they were just both so far in front of everyone that day that it was just a pure shootout. And to be honest, that was when Dylan McClements really came onto the scene as, okay, this guy's good. It was a really good defensive performance. Well, can this be the moment where Harvey Dara finally gets one over the unformed best driver in the series?
Well, we'll see. We shall see. The older brother McClements is locked in his own battle with his namesake McGoldrick as they head down towards the short chute here and over towards towards turn 7 and 8. This is going to be a really good battle. We have just over 3 minutes left of this final race, and this is a great opportunity for Harvey to stick his flag down and mark his territory a little bit and say this championship isn't over. Let's see what Harvey will do here. Will he try for the move? Dylan's going to stick to the inside. Harvey's going to try and get it done around the outside. He's going to have to do a switch back, and you can see he's leaving off the brake pressure. He's trying to get a run in. Dylan parked on the apex. That kills all of Dara's momentum. And he's going to have to wait for another lap to get it done. But you can see what Harvey's trying to do, trying to just lay off, give himself to run into the next corner. And but unfortunately, with the way this circuit is configured, it makes it very difficult for that to happen. There's Colin Corkin going off in the background of these two boys who are continuing their ding-dong battle. 2.5 minutes left.
Yeah, Road Atlanta known for sort of its 2-horse races at the front, or at least in the Petit Le Mans. Renger van der Zande fending off one of the caddies a few years ago to win. There was another one, I think, when Felipe Nasser versus Ricky Taylor. That was in the second last lap to win the DPI title back when you had a million classes of IMSA. It's a lot more straightforward now, as Travis Mawhinney has just been disqualified, Kevin.
That unfortunately instance, I suspect, again playing into that, and we said it might come into it, but unfortunately Travis, obviously a little bit of contact earlier on in the race, and then you're saying
he only has 5 on the timing, but I imagine that's wrong. Yeah,
that timing is never really correct, to be fair. It doesn't really help. But yeah, Johnny Hollywood says with no headlights, no less. I think that was the Ricky Taylor battle.
Yeah, that was the Renger one. Well, I think it was Renger van der Zande. Feel free to correct me, Johnny, but that was incredible.
Here we go. Harvey Dara has the inside line, but can't get the overspeed. I thought he'd be more aggressive on the brakes there, was Harvey Dara, but obviously feeling that he didn't have enough of a nose in to get the job done, and he's going to have to hang on as look at this, Conor Melia making a break up. He was back in 10th at one position, now back up to 6th where he began. Connor, it's been a fairly eventful way to end up where you started as Dylan and Harvey continue their battle. I'm surprised Harvey wasn't more aggressive on the brakes. I wonder, is he holding off for a last lap toe helping run at the first position? He gets that one slightly wrong though, there's Harvey, and panic station setting in now for the number 9 cars. He goes across the bends and I reckon we're going to see a lot of toe here in this last lap, and can Harvey make it stick?
Absolutely. There's a 10th.5 separating Dylan McClements and Harvey Dara on the last lap of what's been a blockbuster contest here in Road Atlanta. And it's all going to come down to the final 3 corners, unless one makes a mistake here. Dylan is going to look to back up Harvey Dara through here. They've both got out of the corner okay. And now it's a clean fight down towards the turn 10 chicane. 7 wins on the season for Dylan McClements. 1 for Harvey Dara. He really wants to cement a championship challenge here, as there's no slipstreaming. It's going to be a straight side draft for these two Toyota GR86s down towards the chicane, and Harvey's barely remaining on the track with the push he's getting. Who dares wins? Who is last to the late breakers in towards the chicane? Harvey Dara's gone slightly late. Dylan McClements is the inside line. He's going to have to try and sell him the dream and tuck it under. No, he's gone clean round the outside of him. Oh, what a piece of class from Dylan McClements. That's why he's a multi-time champion and now an 8-time race winner here in the GR86 Cup. Dylan McClements wins from Harvey Dara. Sean McGoldrick, through all his troubles, will end up in 3rd, and Sean McClements will be kicked off the podium with Bicky in 5th position.
Yeah, Sean McGoldrick with a last lap move. Not sure what happened to Harvey Dara. He ended up spinning out there crossing the line, but he finished in 2nd position. What an incredible move from Dylan McClements, as you say, Evan, living up to his billing as multiple-time champion. And incredible. I thought I thought Sean had it, or I thought Dylan, should I say, have it going into the chicane. Halfway through the chicane, I thought Harvey had it, and then all of a sudden, Dylan getting around the outside. What a brilliant, clean race between these two, and a superb way to round out the 5th round of the RTA GR86 Cup. Dylan McClements once again on the top step of the podium.
Yeah, unbelievable from Dylan, and it's another night where all 3 races were won by a McClements. Harvey Dara in 2nd, then Sean McGoldrick in 3rd, Sean McClements in 4th, and it's Eric Killeen in 5th, Conor Melia in 6th, Ryan Johnson in 7th, and Tony Griffin, Sean Smith, and Lee Cogan, who takes a top 10. Then it's Carl Corkin in 11th, Jordan Kelly in 12th. Sorry, pardon me, folks. Queeveen Brennan in 13th, and Graham Walpole, Sam O'Reilly, a DSQ for Travis Mawhinney, and a non-finish for Ken Doyle and Johnny Reid, unfortunately. So, what a win from Dylan McClements. Let's hear it for him now. Sorry to interrupt you mid-conversation, Dylan, but congratulations. It is an 8th win on the season and a win over both of your championship rivals. Talk us through what was going through your head on that last lap, because, of course, being in the lead here, starting the last lap's not always an advantage.
Yeah, I knew if before the back straight, if Harvey was a bit behind, he would get a stronger slipstream, maybe 2 or 3. So I kind of stopped it up and got the exit, so then he'd be on my bumper, and then try to get the side draft. And then from there, it seemed to work all out. It's hard to know what line to go through in the last chicane, because the inside obviously gets the exit for the line, but then the outside person does it well, you never know.
I imagine when you saw it was just the 2 of you for the last 5 minutes, you were kind of licking your lips at that opportunity, and I imagine Harvey was doing the same, because it's no totally lost my train of thought, but it's no surprise is the word I'm looking for, that both of you like a good wheel-to-wheel fight.
Yeah, it was really good. Like, it kept it interesting because there was a couple of dodgy moments, but it's hard to get a gap in these cars with the toe, and we sort of worked together for the first couple laps and then enjoyed the battle for the rest.
Well, you're going for record territory now in terms of wins and podiums and points on the season. I imagine the plan is to just keep pushing.
Yeah, of course. Try to get much wins as possible and try to beat my Porsche Cup record, because that was a pretty good season for me as well. So hopefully it stays the same for the rest.
Dylan, congratulations once again.
Thank you very much.
Now, to bring in our second place, and unfortunately someone has to lose in a great race, here's Harvey Dara with Kevin.
Harvey, first of all, thank you very much for that. That was highly entertaining all the way through this evening. I definitely think you didn't quite get the rub of the green, particularly in that second race with that Sean McGoldrick incident. But a fabulous battle with yourself and Dylan at the end. And even though I know you finished in second place, like to be the two of you guys, it must give you a great buzz.
Yeah, it was really interesting. Like I really did enjoy that race because I think every time something happened, it just got even more and more and more interesting. Like, but oh sure, that last one was kind of boring, but um at the end it started getting good once we actually started fighting. But just unlucky we didn't get the P1. But oh well.
Yeah, I mean, just talk us going down the long straight. I presume the plan originally was to tuck in behind to get the slipstream, but then you found yourself alongside and being squeezed into the grass. And I suppose just a very solid defensive job from Dylan to kind of squeeze you out there and just kind of get rid of that momentum because we had you odds on when you were coming, when you were so close and with the slipstream these cars have.
Yeah, I mean, I was coming out of it, and I just thought, see, if you start bumping him, then he'll get a bit more speed than you want. So I thought I'd just use the side draft the whole way down the side of him, and then I ideally wanted to be on the outside, which I got because then you have the inside for the second corner. Um, but then there's like a wee technique where if Dylan started like rubbing or anything, I'd lose all my momentum. So I kept trying to move to the right so that we wouldn't touch it all. So I was coming into the corner, I just braked as hard as I could. But to be honest, I thought I was braking so late for that he would back out and then try and get a switchback. So that's why I messed up the next corner then. So, but oh well, it was really interesting. Like,
Yeah, but look, it was superb racing, and as I said, we thoroughly enjoyed it up here. So congratulations! Should have really been a better result in race two, and that's not from your making at all. But you've been really consistent all the way through the evening, and look, we're looking forward to speaking to you again next week.
yeah, thank you very much. Thank you.
Brilliant. So that was Harvey Dara's thoughts on the final race. Do remember to get your votes in for driver of the day. And we will speak to a man who finished in third place, at least provisionally, Sean McGoldrick.
Sean, congratulations on the podium here in Road Atlanta. Bit of a busy evening for yourself, though.
Yeah, thanks very much. Yeah, it was a very busy evening. I made a couple of good starts in the first two races. It was okay in the third, but yeah, the third one we were trying to make it interesting, so I was sending it in a few places and ended up going back down the field and back up a bit.
Yeah, a couple of incidents that you got caught up in just by the nature of racing in these cars, I suppose. One with Conor Melia and Travis Mawhinney.
Yeah,
Three wide in front of you, always a bit of a scary situation.
I have to apologise to Travis. That was my fault. The guys had, because they were three wide, they checked up, but I was not on the power, but I didn't brake on time, so that's completely on me. I'm sorry, Travis.
Look exceptionally quick in these cars. For across the last how many weeks for yourself, Sean? Obviously racing them in another league as well. Will we see a win from you in either Okayama, Sebring, or Oran Park?
Yeah, I think it's probably possible. I just need to calm down and probably make some better decisions. I made some bad decisions in race 3 there, so maybe one of the final rounds.
Well, Sean, congratulations on the podium nonetheless, and I think you have a fan in terms of your livery alongside me in the commentary box.
Brilliant.
Always.
Yeah.
Always. Mr. Sparkle. Can't go wrong.
You can't go wrong.
So good to hear from all our podium placers there. And one thing we didn't address is driver of the day.
No, absolutely. Just to let everyone know as well, before I announce our driver of the day, Mr. Sparkle is a joint venture, a result of a joint venture between Matsumura Fishworks and Tami Burshi Heavy Manufacturing Concern. So there you go. Those are the two companies. I was thinking of those earlier and I was trying to remember what they were, but those are
Is that just off the dome?
No, God, no, that was
Oh,
Googled.
okay.
I wish I knew it.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to ruin that. I was just really impressed.
No. That
Sorry.
would have been that would be a great mastermind question, though. Right. Our driver of the day, if you haven't figured it out already, is the Woontang number 10, Eric Colleen Bicky. Bicky is our driver of the day, and he himself says interesting take, to be honest. But no, Bicky has been. It's been a good, solid outing for him. He finished in second position in seventh position in race 2. Started in second, dropped back, but then made his way back up and finished in fifth. So good, solid showing from Eric Killeen. But all thoughts are about this man who leads us into the third last round at Okayama. So over to Japan we go for the third last round on the 25th of August. And it is this man, Dylan McClements, that leads us in, followed by Harvey Dara. And we hope that ding dong battle continues as we cross the Pacific Ocean over to Okayama, another track that we see plenty of here on RTA. Thanks to all of you for your company, for getting involved in the votes, for the comments as well. In the meantime, remember to head to rtavirtualmotorsport.com where you'll have all of the updates and some fantastic AI slap imagery as well.
I actually only noticed that
And,
earlier. What track is that even supposed to be? It looks like
I'm
backwards
fine.
Bathurst.
It looks like Bathurst. It looks like Bathurst combined with
Barber or something.
well, I was gonna say Laguna Seca, but yeah. Right, that's where you'll find that. No AI slap here at Opal Motorsports. It is purely
Just slop.
just the stuff robbed off Google. No, yeah, some of your own thoughts, Evan, as well. Right, Boa Motorsport, 26,000 followers. Try and get that number to 30,000. So do give him a follow.
Oh,
if you
please
have
follow
it.
the Facebook instead. I actually get paid on that.
Oh, okay, well, follow the Facebook instead. And I'll head over to Sim Consultants. There's a man getting out of a car. There's three of them looking very pleased about that. I won't do this again. Right, Ronan, as we say, as as we get forward towards the winter, the nights
Cheddar
are
Rob
closing
King.
in, and you want to make sure that and yeah, just get your gear before.
Oh, actually, no.
we head. Oh my
While
God,
we're here,
Evan,
can you show
can I
the gantry page? Show the gantry page.
show the gantry page?
Yeah,
Oh,
look, this is
yeah.
cool now.
Look, there's us. That's what we look like. Edge of your seat coverage. I hope you're on the edge of your seat. Right.
You spelled Premier wrong, though.
Jeez. Right. Well, you see, if you used ChatGPT to do that, you probably would have gotten it right. That all remains. I always try and do this properly, and you always make an absolute balls of it for me. So
Yeah,
thank you
sorry,
very much,
sorry.
lads. Appreciate that. Next week we're off to Okayama. Best of luck to Ronan this weekend in the Formula Drift. No,
Haha.
Drift
Good
game.
one.
I don't know.
That's like
Drift games. Drift games. Drift.
best of
Some sort
looking
drift game.
Formula Drift.
Some sort of drifting competition. I have no idea. And until next Tuesday, thanks very much for joining us. I've had enough of these two. Slán go fóill.